Naruto, Boruto, Shinobi Strikers, or not Shinobi Strikers, Connections, whatever, how much, 4 or 5, whatever they did. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Don't ask me. It's a name, okay? Just a giant name. The thumbnail is right there, you know? The name is right there, so you can just check it out by the thumbnail, okay? Do I recommend this game? No, okay? I think there's probably other games, and I will say some suggestions in this video that they should probably do in the game, but I do not recommend any person to download this game because it literally costs like, what, $60 or $70, and I paid for it, right? But it was just very bad and very, very boring, and it was just annoying to play with. Like, it was easy, you know, you could rush people. Like, you can see like people like making the fights look harder. I don't know if they make it or maybe they're just worried or something, but in actuality, if you just rush through a whole bunch of these Shinobis, you should be fine. Even you could probably even get like a whole bunch of, you know, achievements, like the regular achievements. Why not, right? Just rush through everything. Like, everything about the game feels boring, and it's so much like it just feels lackluster, right? And I literally remember when I beat the game, I was like, that's it, right? I got a small achievement. Yeah, I 100% the game on the PS5, but other than that, that's it. That's all you do in this game. You go ahead and rush through pretty much every person, and then after that, you're just, whoa, you 100%, like, it feels boring and empty, and it feels like, you know, they're just skimming through the storylines. Instead of making a game, it feels like, you know, hey, pay $70 so you could rewatch Naruto within a game within 10 hours, right? Even though Naruto is like, what, a few hours long, if not like, I think like 200 hours. This game literally summarizes the entire show within 10 hours. Like, it's boring, right? It's boring. And the fights isn't fights. Fights are like 20 seconds long. The average fight that I would probably go into was like 20 seconds long or 30 seconds long. It was very boring. It was, I don't know how to emphasize what the word boring is. Sure, there were special moments like, you know, Itachi and Sasuke, you know, special mechanics, even Naruto, you know, Kurama, and I think like, I think it was like Susanoo or something, you know, like you could be giants and stuff like that, or maybe like Hagurama and like Madara and all that stuff, right? But even then with these special mechanics, it still doesn't feel like this game really is, you know, trying. It just feels like it's just skimming through, pay us $70, and that's it. And it really does feel like it's the worst game mankind has ever witnessed. And if you do not, and if you're like literally like wondering if this game is good or not, take this from me. There is nothing special about this game whatsoever. Sure, there's really cool mechanics and stuff like that, but even then, it's just not enough to make this game thrive. I do have suggestions, okay? For starters, I like the story mode. Now, I actually seen Dragon Ball Mobile do this a lot, okay? So what they do is they add some sort of levels, okay? So yeah, sure, we have levels for characters, right? I'm gonna take this fidget toy, I swear it's distracting me, but like let's say levels, right? So you have like level 1 to like level 20, right? And like what people are going to say is like, yeah, we have something like this, right? We have something in the game where like characters can go like from level 1 to level 20. And what I'm saying is I'm not talking about character levels. I'm talking about storyline levels, okay? Meaning, let's say, by the way, dude, this I'm just going to be totally honest. That fidget toy literally distracted me for a second. I was trying to make it into a ball, and then I was like distracted what I was talking about. Hold on, I'm going to rewatch the video and I'm going to see what happened. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, pretty much what I was talking about, and yeah, I was in the right topic. Thank God, but pretty much what I was talking about is, you know, the level system, right? Meaning, not like the level system as if, like I said, the characters, which they have somewhat, right? And I'm talking about story level systems, right? Let's say you want to play this game, right? Instead of going on with every single story, let's say they have 100 different levels, okay? Which each level covers a certain part of a story. So instead of telling a story that's like 20, 30 minutes long and then the fight's 90 seconds, what they should do is, let's say, level 1, Zabuza versus Sasuke, or Zabuza versus Naruto, and then it will show glimpses of that story, and then you just battle it within that 90 seconds or minute or two or whatever, and then move on to the next one, and move on to the next one. So instead of it feels like you're just watching a story and then doing little battles in there, make the game feel like a game where you're always playing, at the same time you're watching cool stories that like moves on forward. I think that'd be a really cool system. I think there would be more than 100 levels, right? I think there would be thousands of levels simply because the amount of arcs in Naruto there is actually insane. Even fillers, I could see it being levels, right? There could be thousands of levels and like it would still be insane, right? But I do think that system would work somewhat, right? And also another thing is I like the idea where like they choose the characters for you at some occasions, and like they should do that, right? Where like maybe like within that level system, right? Oh, you actually have to play Naruto to defeat Zabuza because that's what happened in the story arc. And then Zabuza could be like really hard to battle and stuff like this. And another thing is make the bosses a little bit harder. I feel like the bosses, the only hard part is that they literally either if they get a really good hit, then it just won't stop. And then after that, you can just kill them right off the bat. Or maybe they just have a whole bunch of health. And I hate that because like a lot of times when bosses have a whole bunch of health doesn't mean, you know, it's hard. And that was occasionally for that game specifically. It just feels boring in such a way. It feels like it's just taking a long time. You're just spamming and doing all of that good stuff, right? But even then, I do feel like the game should be a little bit harder within like boss battles like Zabuza, right? I'm gonna bring Zabuza. You know how Zabuza was really hard, you know? Like make him even harder. Make him, let's say, Naruto, you know, every single time Zabuza, you know, attacks, he just attacks fast, so you have to dodge fast and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, just make the game a little bit harder in some sense, because it just feels boring. It feels like you're just playing the game, playing 90 seconds, and at the end of the day, that's it. And that's the boring part about the game. The boring part about the game is it doesn't add anything besides the characters, and other than that, that's it. Like, it's really that simple, and it's not enough. It's not enough just adding characters. It's not enough just adding few, you know, tiny decorations within a world. No, you know, or all of that stuff. No, you need to have more than just a few characters and storylines and stuff like that. I think there should be more stuff. And like, it'd be kind of cool though if they added like, let's say, gears and stuff like that. I don't know if games have that, but like, let's say they have some sort of gears for specific characters, kind of like Brawl Stars, except like you could use it a certain amount of times or something. So like, for example, you know how Naruto uses a Rasengan? So let's say like, you know, the kid version has some sort of gear or something to have two clones use Rasengans and something like that. You could use it 3 times within a match or something. You know, something to make the game a little bit more, I guess, better. Another thing is I feel like there should be some sort of cooldown when it comes with the powers. Very spammy, what is that? Spammy, right? Like, for example, Minato is super overpowered, even though Hashirama, but Minato is one of the most overpowered characters ever. He has a wide range, and you could pretty much spam his power or his powers every single time, no matter what. It literally just feels like you're just beating the game without even trying, and that's what it is, right? The game doesn't allow room to try, right? It allows room to progress, and I think that's very boring in such a way, right? It only just allows you to go, oh, you did this level? Congratulations! Go level 2, go level 3, you know what I'm saying? Go level 4, but hey, let's watch 30 minutes, right, worth of storyline, and it just feels boring. It feels like everything about the game rushed. It feels like even when you're playing the game, it feels like you're rushing to other stories and stuff like that. The stories itself didn't really pique my interest. Oh, sure, even the Boruto parts. Oh, sure, stuff like that. Like, even that just didn't really pique my interest. I will say, in the Boruto, like, area where I battled, it was a little bit harder, in my opinion, but I think it was just because I forgot the mechanics for a second, but I did end up, towards the end, rushing through like that. Like, it was really simple, really easy. Other than that, that's it. That was it. That's all I gotta say, right? Boruto just feels, you know, the whole game just feels boring, and it feels bad, and it feels like, you know, it feels like, you know, this game needs improvement, but not in the right, not like, you know what I'm saying, not in the right way. It just feels like it needs improvement by deleting this game over again and focus on this game for about 2 years or something like that and do something better, or maybe have a giant update. I don't know, okay? All I do know is there has to be something within the game to change so people can go and play more. Again, Dragon Ball has a really amazing game, right? I haven't played that game, Dragon Ball Legends, right? You know, not Legends, well, yeah, on the PS5, right? Like, I haven't played that game, but people hop on there a lot, right? And there's probably cooldowns and all that stuff. Demon Slayer, you know what I'm saying? There has to be some sort of balance and some sort of way to make bosses harder and do all of that stuff to make this game a little bit more entertaining. I don't feel like this game deserves to even somewhat be a game. I think they just need some time away to go away from the game and say, hey, what we should do, how we should fix it. Because at the end of the day, it really does feel like it's rushed. It does feel like, like, sure, the Kaguya battle was hard even for me, but even then, it just feels like it was rushed, and it feels like everything about the game just feels predictable, easy. At the end of the day, it just doesn't feel worth it just to play it. Hell, you could probably defeat it within 2-3 hours. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I haven't played this game, okay? Like, I only played this game, like, let's say a few hours, aka 1 or 2 hours when it got released, and that was it. I played a little bit of the story and a little bit of that, right? Again, that was it. Even then, I haven't played this game at all, barely, and other than that, I somehow ended up winning, then pretty much, losing, if that makes sense, right? Which feels boring and it feels weird. But again, let me know what you think. Other than that, that's it. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to watch the entire gameplay, I do have it uploaded on YouTube. Just go on my channel, click on it. But yeah, it has no commentary by the end because towards the end of the video, I literally say how bad this game was. But let me know what you think. Other than that, that's it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. Wait, before I do, I will say I did make other positive parts about this game before. How, the character mechanics is unique, how the battles is unique, even it's a little bit challenging at times. But it was literally because I was bad, right? I think the only reason why people could probably find it fun is because they're bad at games like me. So, but yeah, I don't think that's enough to make a game fun, just to target one single, bad player all over the world trying to, trying to make a community with that game. I think there has to be, I don't know, some changes, a little bit more skill instead of spam. Let me know what you guys think. But again, I'm just bad at games. The fact that I beat it, says a lot, literally. But again, other than that, that's it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.